back to the Realty Podcast. I'm joined with Catherine, and today is going to be a hefty episode because we are discussing the election and real estate and how whatever happens might affect the market. So let's dive in. 2020 has been an insane year.
It's been a doozy.
Fortunately enough, despite the pandemic, murder hornets, freaking fires in California, so many things happening, the market has still remained well and thriving.
It definitely made a comeback as soon as the work from home orders were lifted and we started to get out.
Right, and so we're doing well, and obviously stay on a good track. And the election is coming up in less than 2 months.
Yes.
So let's dive in. What do we think will happen in terms of the amount of sales with the election?
So that's definitely a concern. I'm hearing a lot more, what you just asked, what do you think will happen? Should I wait? The truth is, whenever there's an election year, there's always a caution pause, if you will. Individuals who are concerned, who may not necessarily have to move, because if you do have to move, that's usually the driver. But if there's an election coming up, people tend to take pause, and immediately after the election, it picks right back up. Actually, every single year, the following 12 months after an election tend to be the most active than the next 3 in between election years. So that's happens. Also, it's cyclical. Across the country, we have seasons, and just before the holidays, right around Halloween time, things tend to take a little slow, but it picks right back up, like I said.
Right.
So 2020 being a complete new set of circumstances all around could totally disprove that. Interest rates are incredibly low. We're still very much active. Our economy is recovering. We're having, I think the last report said that we had less unemployment than what were expected. So all signs point to a good outcome.
Right, and so as you said, it's very normal during an election for increased caution to occur, as well as it's holiday season, basically. It kind of occurs at the same time. There's just a natural dip, as people are staying at home, celebrating the season. But how long do you think sales will slow down for? You said they bounce back. When would they, typically?
They'll definitely bounce back by January of the following year. You have to take into consideration if you want Trump to be reelected. And he does, you may be extra happy and purchase immediately after the election, right?
Right.
Vice versa. If the opposite happens and you were a proponent of that, same thing. Really, I think the driver is going to come to, can you afford it? Is the economy still promising in terms of low rates? Are the numbers still improving? I think that's going to have a bigger impact on how those numbers coming right back up. There's usually, in terms of how much of a dip there is, there's just 8% less activity. It's not like we lose a whole lot of volume. There's just slight slowdown.
Right.
And it's out of caution. It always picks right back up the following year.
And is there any reason for this caution to prevent you from buying or listing your home?
No, definitely not from listing today. We have a shortage of inventory. That means if you're selling, you have a lot of buyers who are going to want your home.
Right.
So that means you're going to get more money for your house. The election today doesn't have a direct impact on that. As far as being on the opposite side of that line, if you're the buyer and interest rates are still penciling out, yeah, by all means, let's shop. Let's get you a good deal on whatever you need to move to.
Right, and interest rates, if doing some research, they aren't supposed to go up anytime soon, at least by November, correct?
They're not expected to now.
Right, so that's reassuring. And will whoever's elected affect the market in any big way?
Like I said, it depends on your personal politics. I think if you are a blue household and a Democrat gets elected, I think you'll probably be a little bit more motivated to make a move than the opposite. But statistically speaking, it should all go back to normal come January.
Right. No major changes are expected at all, which is very reassuring to hear, as you know, the world is 24/7 changing around us right now with everything going on. At least our real estate market is staying slow and steady. Not even slow, fast and steady. It keeps going.
We're staying
better and
afloat, and
better.
it's making the increases in value are slow and steady. We don't want to see a super spike up in increased pricing, because that makes us nervous that there might be a dip.
Yeah.
All of that, none of that is happening. It's still pretty sustainable. It's appraisers are doing their due diligence, and banks are checking. So I think we're good. I think we're good for the short term for sure. Into 2021.
Yeah, which is really good to hear, because 2020. We're already in September, and I swear, just yesterday it was like March. So
Yeah, but I'm thinking we're not so shell shocked anymore. I think it's just
this is just
been
our
different.
life now. This is the new normal.
I think by now we're rolling with the punches a little bit better.
Right, and so with all these monumental world changes, the movements occurring, unrest, and all this stuff happening, it is now more important than ever to get out and vote. You can do mail-in voting, in-person voting, research it, sign up. Put out your vote, every vote counts, and wear your mask, stay healthy, and let's hope we can have a great holiday season and a great real estate year in total. So thank you for joining, Catherine, and thank you for listening, viewers.
Thank you, everybody.
Vote, wear your masks. We love you.
See ya. Thank you.